Hello, hello, it's Monday evening. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. What a crazy end of the weekend it was weather-wise, with heavy rain, thunderstorms, flooding problems, wind damage, all sorts of shenanigans over the last 24 hours or so. The one thing we did not have was a tornado. If you saw my post last night, and this touched a nerve with some people, some people thought it would be a good idea, and this has happened a couple of times now when we've had severe weather in Mercer County. Someone has gotten the bright idea to share a story from our website from a couple of years ago when there was a tornado in Mercer County, and that person then starts a trend where people share that story not out of malice, but because they think it's recent. And it all starts with someone or a couple of people who shared it just to throw people off. They knew what they were doing. They knew they were sharing a story from a couple of years ago. So I tried to diffuse that on Facebook last night. Some people appreciated it. Some people got very angry with me. And the ban button on Facebook has been utilized a few times because of some of the comments on that story. I told people, hey, don't share it. Call people out who share this stuff. It's bad information on the internet is so prevalent and such a problem these days. And for me, who's busy enough to have to spend time debunking stuff, it's very frustrating for meteorologists, not only on TV, but in other areas of the weather enterprise as well. All right, 24-hour rainfall totals. These are actual rain gauge numbers here. Now, some rain gauges are better than others. Oops, let me go back. Some rain gauges are better than others. Some aren't the upkeep isn't as great by some people as some others. So your mileage varies on these a little bit, but I can tell you that my rain gauge is the one there in Boardman, and we have one on the roof here at the station. That's the downtown reading, and I manage both of those weather stations, so I know they're in pretty good shape. I had over 3 inches of rain at my house yesterday into last night, and I had water in my basement, unfortunately, when I got up and looked this morning. Here in downtown Youngstown, 2.71, and some 3-inch amounts fairly common over into Mercer County as well. Those are the rain gauge numbers. Here's a look at some Doppler radar estimates over the last 36 hours, and if we do kind of a average here of our general region, an average of 1.3, but of course that's just an average. Some higher numbers, some lower numbers. Certainly the corridor that got slammed the hardest last night was right here from Canton right up to Youngstown and over into parts of Mercer. Hope you enjoyed this graphic. I posted this on social media earlier. Say 3 inches of rain fell on your property and you have a 1-acre property. How much rain is that? How much water is that? And 3 inches of rain over 1 acre is 81,462 gallons. It's amazing to think of it in those terms. How much water fell out of the sky last night. And boy, this is going to skew our numbers for the month. It's been a dry June until yesterday. Now, the airport was one of the drier spots during the first 17 days of the month. I'll give you that. But even so, I mean, at the airport, only a quarter of an inch worth of rain until yesterday when the airport picked up almost 2 inches. So we made up a lot of ground in a hurry. The only local river that's showing to be pretty high this evening, the one spot is the Mahoning River at Warren, which is pretty close to minor flood stage at around 10 feet. Mahoning River at Levittsburg is fine. The gauge at Eagle Creek at Phalanx Station in southwestern Trumbull is not in flood stage. Mahoning River at Youngstown is actually fine. It's Mahoning River at Warren that is running pretty high. I wouldn't be shocked if the Weather Service had to issue a flood warning for the Mahoning River at Warren at some point tonight. Now, when I recorded Weather Geeks this evening at 7:46 p.m., had some gusty showers pushing through Mercer County where they don't need any more rain. Severe thunderstorm warning earlier on up in Crawford County. There's some hail. Very impressive shelf cloud. I've seen some pictures on Twitter and on Facebook and Instagram of the shelf cloud and big mean storm up there towards Pymatooning and then heading over towards Meadville. But from Sandy Creek on southward through Fredonia and Mercer, raining at a pretty good clip this evening with some gusty winds. The rest of us have fairly benign weather. So this main thrust of showers with some thunder moves through. Looks pretty quiet later on tonight. And tomorrow, especially north of I-80, you might see a shower early, but I think they're few and far between as the day starts. A little more comfortable today. After a muggy stretch of weather, dew points started dropping off early this afternoon. We've been kind of hovering in the upper 50s ever since. That sure beats the heck out of mid-60s dew points any day of the week. Tomorrow, again, pretty nice day for the final day of astronomical spring. Maybe a shower up towards the lake in the morning. Looks like we're dry for most of the afternoon. If we get showers widespread tomorrow, it's probably towards dark and into the evening, late evening. 10, 11 o'clock, maybe some showers here and there. That little disturbance pushes past, and high pressure pays us a visit for a lot of Wednesday, the first day of summer, and a lot of Thursday as well. A couple of nice days coming up, I think, for Wednesday and for Thursday, at least the first half of the day Thursday. Some of the modeling tries to push these showers into eastern Ohio, western PA towards the end of the day on Thursday. We'll see if that's the right idea or not. There's some model shenanigans starting late this week and taking us through the weekend that make the forecast kind of tough. Here's one model. I think this is the European I have plotted up here. Dew point. It's like going up the one side of a roller coaster here. Enjoy the comfortable air while we have it, because dew points will be back in the 60s by Thursday, maybe even really muggy on Friday before possibly dipping down in time for the upcoming weekend. Let's talk a little about the medium range here, including the upcoming weekend. This is the GFS model, showing our cold front on Friday with showers, some storms possible in the wake of that front on Saturday. Now this is where the modeling gets a little bit challenging, because the GFS would suggest the front hangs up and we see more shower chances on Saturday. European modeling, some of the other modeling, just makes it a clean sweep and dries us out on Saturday. What do I think is going to happen? I'm not real sure just yet, so our forecast is kind of played in the middle. We have a low-end chance for rain in the current forecast for Saturday. Worst case scenario, it turns out pretty wet like the GFS. On the other side of the coin, best case scenario, it's a mostly sunny day like the European model has. You know, sometimes we see this on days 5 and 6. Models are completely opposite of one another, and it makes our forecasts a challenge. But we look at more than just a couple of models, so all the information I've looked at, you know, kind of drew me towards a 20% chance of a shower or a thunderstorm on Saturday. Here's the GFS on Sunday, suggesting a decent day with rain trying to hold off. Now, again, opposites here. The European model, not shown, but the European model suggests another front rolls through, pretty good chance of showers and thunderstorms on Sunday. So the weekend forecast has some challenges, that is for sure. But one thing we're pretty confident of is next week looks pretty cool compared to average. Behind that next front, here comes a cool air mass descending east of the Rockies. The compared to average, the coolest weather will be out in the middle of the country, but still, this is comfortable stuff for the end of June. And here on the 28th, you know, someone asked me on Facebook or Twitter about a week ago, I think. They showed me an automated app forecast from some app or some website showing like 98 degrees here on June 27th or 28th. And I said, well, it's one run of one model that's generating that on the app. I don't buy anything on those apps 2 weeks out. And wouldn't you know it, next week now looks pretty cool by late June standards. It's certainly not going to be in the 90s. Might have some highs in the lower 70s for a couple of days, especially during the first half of next week. And then it looks pretty comfortable through the end of the month, and we might start to see a turnaround towards the 4th of July. That was the European modeling. Here's the American climate forecast system showing right about the 4th of July. We start seeing a warmer trend, but I think the last week of June, compared to the averages, will be pretty comfortable. Maybe utility bills will be a little bit lower than lately. So I think we've seen our hot stretch for the month of June. We had, you know, upper 80s, 90s, well, 90s for one day last week. And last week will definitely be the hottest week of the entire month of June. This is the last weather for Weather Geeks until a week from now. I'm on vacation starting tomorrow, so you'll be geek-free for the rest of this week. Hope you have a great rest of the week. I'll see you back here a week from today. In the meantime, check out my forecast tonight on 21 News at 11, and have a great Monday night.